Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving my match predictions for week 34 Premier League fixtures. And if we get anything like we saw in week 33, we are in for some amazing fixtures and some amazing results. And what we have for week 34 Premier League fixtures is going to be amazing. We got Arsenal versus Manchester United, and we know both teams are competing fiercely for the last Champions League spot in terms of the 4th place. We also got the Merseyside derby between Liverpool and Everton. We've got Liverpool obviously chasing down the Premier League and Everton trying to have survival, but we know how important this game is for both sets of fans, trying to have the bragging rights for the weekend in terms of who wins. We also got other good games like Man Utd versus Watford, attack v defence. Let's see if Roy Hodgson can pull off a masterclass at the head-to-head and actually get a result. But before I go into this video and give my verdict and my predictions who's going to win, you know what I'm going to say. Make sure you guys like, comment and hit that big subscribe button right there, and make sure you guys in the comment section give me your predictions in the comments. But make sure you guys subscribe please, because only like 10% of you guys are actually subscribed to my channel and they help it grow. Let's try hit the 2k mark, so let me go straight into this video. So the first game I'm going to be predicting is Liverpool versus Everton, and like I said in my introduction, it's the Merseyside derby, the Merseyside clash, and we know both teams who want the bragging rights just for this weekend. Even if Everton win, they know they're nowhere near as good as Liverpool, but let's be honest, both fans passionately want to win this game because they know what it means for the city to be red for the weekend or blue. But going this game, how on earth can anyone predict that Everton have a chance of winning? I know people love to say form goes out the winner in these type of games because it's about passion, it's about fight, it's about battling, it's about being the first one to the 50-50 balls, getting first to the second balls. Everyone loves to talk about these cliches, and somewhat it's right. Because in these sort of games, we know players love to step up and make a name for themselves. And you know the saying, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And obviously this does not apply to Liverpool, because Liverpool have been working so hard recently and their talent has been on full throttle on display for the neutral to see. The last game against Manchester United, it was magical, it was magnificent the way we were playing the ball, passing the ball, one touch, two touch, players like Diaz and Salah taking on their man, beating them, players like Thiago Silva controlling the tempo, speed of the game, retaining possession, even going for a crunching tackle to win back the ball. Liverpool have been playing absolutely amazing, and even Sadio Mane, who I was heavily critical of early on in the season, has really stepped up after he's come back from Senegal in terms of the African Cup of Nations. The way he's been playing in that number 9 role, it's starting to feel like he's making this position his own, because we know Jota likes to play there, and even Firmino throughout the last few years has been excellent there. The way he can drop in deep, find that pass for his other forward teammates like Mohamed Salah for that goal against Manchester United, the way he can run in behind and get a goal himself, he has been absolutely magnificent. Liverpool have been clicking on all cylinders, only losing one game in the last 26 games or so. So how on earth are Everton going to keep Liverpool out, at Liverpool at bay, especially when we know their championship worthy defence is nowhere near good enough to retain Liverpool from scoring a goal? Everton do have tireless runners like Delph, plays like Aaron Gordon, even though he has that little bit of quality, we know he's literally a Merseyside local as well, so he knows what these fixtures mean and he's going to be running his legs into the ground. Even players like Allen, he's ferocious in his tackles. They have real competitors and real spirits in that team if Frank Lampard chooses and opts to play these type of players, because we see Van der Beek and Dele Alli hasn't really been working. It feels like they're entitled the way they've been playing. It doesn't really feel like they've been playing up to scratch in terms of the last few games or so. So if Everton play these players, I think they have a better chance of winning, but we know most likely they're not going to win this game overall against Liverpool, one of the best teams in the world. We know Everton last year beat Liverpool at Anfield, and maybe they may feel like they have a little bit of a psychological edge, but we know this is Everton's first victory at Anfield for the last 25 years or so. They never really get wins at Anfield because we know Liverpool usually stomp them into the ground, and we know that Everton played Liverpool last year when there was no fans in the stadium, and we know Liverpool at Anfield with their fans in a massive game are going to turn up and are going to increase their intensity levels at a crucial part of the season where Liverpool really need it, especially competing for the Premier League title this season. Liverpool have the motivation, they have the courage, they're playing very well as well, they have the spirit, they have the intensity, they have everything going in their way, especially since they want to get revenge against Everton since last time Everton beat them at Anfield. I just can't see Everton winning. Yes, they could potentially take advantage of Liverpool's high line with players like Richarlison and Aaron Gordon, who do have decent pace. But at the end of the day, Richarlison has been hot and cold all season. Calvert-Lewin is really a target man, and he's one of Everton's best strikers, best players, and they have to play him, and he doesn't really suit the style of play against Liverpool, really having that pace in behind to stretch Liverpool. He hasn't been playing well recently all season because of that injury he suffered at the beginning of the season. He hasn't been able to switch on his form, so I feel like Everton going forward Brentford aren't going to pose that much of a threat against a Liverpool side, especially defensively, who have been excellent. So going in this game, form goes out the window, but talent doesn't go out the window, and great play doesn't go out the window in terms of how Liverpool have been playing recently. I'm going to be predicting a modest 3-1 victory against Everton, Liverpool FC. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Arsenal versus Manchester United. And for this clash, how on earth am I going to be able to predict a winner between these two sides? Both teams are hunting down the top 4 race this season, but they have been in despicable form. They have been so poor the way they've been playing. Arsenal have lost their last 3 games. This has been recorded for the Chelsea result, so let's see what happens there. And then we've got Manchester United, who have only 1 win in their last 4 games. So both teams are thinking, how on earth do we still have a chance and an opportunity at this top 4 race when we have been playing so bad? And going this game, neither team are going to be filled with great spirit, great charisma, great confidence that they can actually pull off a result against the other side. Let me just start with Manchester United and their horrific performance against Liverpool. It was disgraceful. It was humiliating. It was embarrassing. And obviously we know Liverpool are the superior side tactically, better manager, even better players. But when it comes to versus Liverpool, a team which are on the verge of completing a quadruple, and you perform like that, shouldn't you be ashamed of yourself? Don't you have some dignity? Don't you have some shame? Don't you have some pride? Like, what is this? It was absolutely embarrassing. Second to loose balls, never really closing down players. It was as if they were playing piggy in the middle and Manchester United couldn't get out of the middle because the Liverpool players kept passing around them. They were stringing passes all around them, making them look silly as if they were under 18 players. It was absolutely pathetic. And the Manchester United players, guess what? They didn't even care. It just feels like they want the season to be over and they're not even performing the basics right. Players like Rashford, head down. Matic, too slow and immobile to get to players. I don't know why Ralph Rangnick didn't even start McTominay and Fred, because we know they don't have quality, but at least they're going to leave it all on the pitch and actually hunt down players. At the end of the day, Manchester United are in poor form. The club is rotten. The way it's being run, the players don't care. They're waiting for the new season. They're waiting for the summer holidays to do what they want. And they've just been so poor. I know they're versus Arsenal, who haven't been much better themselves because they've been playing bad. But at the end of the day, at least the Arsenal players are competing. And at least the reason why they're not doing well is because of their inconsistent players of obviously still being young and they're still learning the ropes of how to close down the top 4 position this season. Players like Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli have never really had this responsibility or burden throughout their career, their young career. Where players like Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, players like even Ronaldo, I know he's been playing well, but other players in that squad, Maguire, sure, they've had this responsibility before and they have just not been turning up this season. So that's why I'm caught in the middle. I don't know which team I should predict to win because both teams have been horrendous. At least Arsenal are trying, but they don't have the quality. Manchester United are not trying, but they have the quality. So which team is going to pull off a good result, a good performance, and actually win on Saturday in the early kickoff? I got no clue really. In my opinion, I think it's going to be a boring, still game. Both teams tentative. Both teams not really building momentum or rhythm within their style of play, of their build-up play. I think it's going to be horrendous. It's going to be slow. It's going to be lethargic. And both teams are going to feel each other out, nervous to concede the first goal because they know that their confidence is at all-time low. So when they do concede the first goal, they don't really have a chance to get back in this game. So going in this game, I think it's going to be a stalemate. I think it's going to be a 1-1 game. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Brentford versus Spurs. And we know for Spurs, this game is a crucial game, especially in this time of the season when we know Spurs are chasing down a top 4 place this season to play Champions League football next year. I know Spurs just lost to Brighton, which gives me a reason to pause and think, is this Spurs being Spursy? Because we know when they have expectations, they falter, they flop, they choke. Or is this Spurs having a blip in form because we know they've been on an epic sensational run for the last 5 or 6 games or so, winning 5 of their last 7 games, if including the Brighton game, scoring goals for fun. Players like Son, Kane and Kulusevski forming great chemistry up front, getting those all-important goals to destroy and dismantle teams like Newcastle, Aston Villa, and the list goes on. So it's going to be hard to really think about what Spurs are going to do in this game. And I think this game and this result is going to tell a lot about Spurs to see especially how far Spurs have come, especially with their new manager Conte, who we know is going to demand from the players to fix up because they know teams like Arsenal, Manchester United and West Ham are still in this top 4 race battle. And going in this game, let's not get twisted. The Spurs players must know it's not going to be easy against Brentford, especially since Brentford are playing at home. We know they are much stronger there because they feed off the energy the fans give them throughout the 90 minutes. Also, we know Brentford at home, especially against the top 6 sides, always give them a good game. They've given teams like Liverpool a good game, drawing 3-3. They gave teams like Arsenal a good game, winning the first game of the season. We also saw against Manchester City and Chelsea losing by a 1-goal margin. They ain't scared of anyone, especially when they have their diehard fans cheering them on for the 90 minutes. They feed off that energy, like I said, and we see it in their performances because they excel, especially on their counter-attack. And that's not the only factor of why Brentford have been playing well. We have seen the epic comeback of Christian Eriksen playing sensational football in that number 10 role, really gelling and connecting the midfield and the attack with Ivan Toney, who's been getting many more chances in that forward space, scoring goals. So let's see if Eriksen is going to be able to do this against his former club. Will players at Højbjerg, players at Bentancur take the responsibility and the task to actually man-mark Eriksen out of the game? Because it feels like he has been the core and the cornerstone in terms of the way how Brentford have been playing. So let's see if they'll be able to do this and see if they'll be able to win this game. However, at the end of the day, I think Spurs will win this game. I just feel like Conte, one of the best managers in the world, has really installed some mental toughness in that side to make sure they do not unravel and become Spursy like we have seen in the last 10 years or so, or even further than that, because they haven't won a trophy for so long. And in this game, it isn't going to be pretty, but I think they're going to be able to grind out an important 3 points to create space between themselves and their top 4 challengers. Players like Kane, players like Kulusevski, Son, it's so hard for me to think that they're all going to be on poor form like they were against Brighton. I think they're going to turn it up a notch, dial it up their performance, and be able to get Spurs this victory. So between Spurs and Brentford, away from home for Spurs, I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory for the away side. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Manchester City versus Watford. And we know this game is so crucial and important for both sides. We got Manchester City on one hand looking to win this game so they can widen the gap between themselves and Liverpool in terms of the Premier League race. And then we got Watford, who need the 3 points desperately because games are running out if they have any chance of Premier League survival this season. And going in this game, let's not overcomplicate it. It's going to be straightforward. We know how both teams love to set up, and we know what both managers' philosophies are. It's going to be attack versus defense, Pep Guardiola versus Roy Hodgson, and let's see which manager will be able to out-tactic each other to see who can win this game. I don't give Watford any hope winning at all. I know they desperately need the 3 points, but we know Manchester City are one of the best teams not only in England, but in Europe. And we have seen Manchester City answer the call when they have had to face teams which play with a low block. We have seen against teams like Atletico Madrid, one of the premier sides in Europe when it comes to the low block, struggle against Manchester City because they didn't even able to counter-attack with pace to score a goal throughout the 2 ties. We even saw against Burnley this year, Burnley unable to score a goal against Manchester City over the 2 games, where Manchester City were able to win by 4 goals. So it just feels like Burnley are tailor-made for Manchester City because they have the experience and the knowledge of how to break down low block teams, especially when they have world-class midfielders with that false 9 player always creating chances and always suffocating the team with great players in behind and ball to feet. So going into this game, it's going to be one winner. I feel it's going to be straightforward for Manchester City. Yes, Roy Hodgson has improved them slightly, but in their last 5 games, Watford have conceded 12 goals. Leopards do not change its spots, and I'm not saying Roy Hodgson's a bad manager because we know the personnel has not been great at his disposal of what he's really working with, but at the end of the day, he hasn't improved them enough to handle a team like Manchester City, especially across 90 minutes. So going this game is going to be a thrashing. Manchester City against the smaller side at Etihad, we know the results and we know how it always ends up. So I'm going to go for a 4-0 victory for the home side Manchester City against Watford. So the last game I'm going to be predicting is Chelsea versus West Ham. And this is going to be one of the best games all weekend. Another London derby. This is going to be epic. It's going to be amazing. And let's hope it's phenomenal. Because the last time we saw these two sides face, we saw West Ham able to win 3-2 at the Olympic Stadium in epic fashion. So let's see if they're going to be able to do this in the reverse fixture at Stamford Bridge. But going in this game, I just feel like West Ham's eyes are teetering. It feels like West Ham's eyes are distracted. They don't really focus on the Premier League, especially in their last 5 games or so, only winning 2 games, and in their last 4 games, only winning 1. It feels like all their attentions and their eggs are in the basket of the Europa League, because obviously they do want to make history, create history, winning their first European trophy in God knows how long. So this is a great opportunity. and it feels like their performances in the Premier League has lowered. We have seen against teams like Brentford, we also saw in the team against Burnley, who are pretty much 19th or 18th in the Premier League. West Ham have not really stepped up, and we have seen the players like Antonio, Rice, Soucek, Bowen, they've just been running to the ground because we know West Ham's squad is very thin and cannot handle the demands of European football and Premier League football at such a high intensity over 2 games in 7 days. It's just too unrealistic for these West Ham players. So going into this game, I feel like Chelsea have a great opportunity of winning. I feel like they've really found their best front three now. It felt like at the beginning of the season, was it Ziyech? Was it Lukaku? Was it even Hudson-Odoi? But now it feels like they've found their front three players who we know they can rely on. Havertz, Mount, Werner. Their games really complement each other. Like I said in my last video, Werner's runs in behind, scoring goals. Mount has been in good form, terrific form. So let's see if he'll be able to obviously keep this up against West Ham. So going this game, it's going to be 1 winner in my opinion. And I'm going to be predicting a 2-0 victory for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge against West Ham.